Okay, settle down lads, I know there are a lot of content that I need to review right now, but let's just sit back for a while and take a nostalgia trip. One way of avoiding burnout in Warframe is not rushing things, and I want to stick on that. Also, it would be wise to not rush those weapon and frame builds so I can give you a detailed guide on all the new stuff in the game. Okay, enough with the petty talk, let's get back to the topic at hand. In this video, we will try to take a look at the most broken stuff in Warframe. I must admit, I'm guilty of having fun with those unintentional things that has been added to this game. They deserve a nerf, because it probably will make the game boring in the future, but I will not deny the fact that I also tried those stuff for some shit and giggles. Before anything else, I would like to say that these are just some of those broken stuff in the past that I have managed to document in this channel. There are tons of shits and giggles in this game, and I want you to go on the comment section and fill that portion with all the broken stuff you have managed to try in this game. Now, let's begin the madness. Number 1 on the list is Gara and her Mass Vitrify. Remember the time when Gara's Mass Vitrify was duration based and impenetrable by any damage, and remember the time when she was the Queen of Void Survival? When Gara was first released, the damage scaling of her Splinter Storm wasn't the most broken thing, but it's her 4th ability. In Void Survival, this ability is really overpowered, as not only that enemies can't damage the wall, but they can't also get through it, and far better is that, if a nullifier bubble touch it, the wall stay forever. Truly, Gara was the ultimate defensive frame in the past. Second on the list is the Exodia Contagion, working with the Covert Lethality mod. Right now, it's working as intended, but when Exodia Contagion was first introduced in the game, it has this weird interaction with the Covert Lethality mod. Instead of adding the plus 100 damage to its base projectile damage, it was applied to the projectile damage multiplier, creating some massive numbers, which let this setup murder almost all enemies in the game. But the craziness doesn't stop there. The normal damage is great, and can own almost every enemy in the game, but it becomes crazy when you pair it with other Warframe abilities, like Ash. You can strip enemy armors, let the Exodia projectile fly, and watch the enemies die a miserable death. But if that's not enough, then your Dragon Boy will surely suffice your hunger for bloodshed. There was a time when Chroma owns the game. It's truly the age of Dragon, and whatever weapon you pair with Chroma, it becomes extremely overpowered. In fact, hitting 1,000,000 damage is really easy, especially if you are wielding a Covert Lethalities or dagger with Chroma. Back then, Chroma's Vex Armor Fury buff was calculated multiplicatively, and the buff applies before you upgrade your weapons with mods, resulting to insane damage number output. In fact, you can double dip elemental damage on your mod setup, and further boost those crazy numbers. But every broken things in Warframe must come to an end, and the golden age of the Dragon frame ended when Digital Extremes released their wood babies, the Eidolons. The developer were terrified that Terry would become instinct before he can see his siblings, as players were hunting it down ferociously with Chroma. It was just like, bring any crit and radiation weapon, and declare open season for the Terrorist. Players don't need driven for their snipers back then, and they use anything that they could think of, whether it's just a plain Covert Lethalities or a freaking Lato Vandal. That's how insane Chroma was in the past. Aside from extreme damage boost, this game have also added unintentional ways to genocide a number of enemies with one single blow. I'm talking about nukes. There are a couple of these, and I have documented a few of them on this channel. Beginning with Wukong, this monkey has insane survivability with the help of his Defy, and most people use him for that purpose. Well, not until Digital Extremes added something accidentally that would change his Iron Vault augment to the most devastating nuking ability in the game. In the past, you can either use a thrown melee weapon, or Azor with Exodia Contagion, to nuke a room. It doesn't matter if they are armored or unarmored, they just die with one single blow. How did this happen? Well, the augment does boost both damage and range of your first ability. It so happens that the buff were also unintentionally given to Exodia Contagion's projectile, and to thrown melee weapons like the Glaive Prime, resulting to a big boom and dead enemies. It was really fun while it lasted, and after it was patched, it's back to being a god monkey again. I don't know if you already know this, but Wukong will be reworked really soon. Many players think that the rework will nerf his Defy ability, but I'm kinda interested on seeing the new kit of this monkey first. Let me know in the comments section if you are also looking forward for the rework of the Monkey King. But for now, let's proceed to another new god, and that is Trinity. Actually, as this was patched already, but it was just like yesterday seeing a Trinity out-damaging Saren in Elite Sanctuary Onslaught, and being the best DPS in Index runs. That was so epic. What happened is, Trinity's Link ability were transmitting self-damage to the enemies, and not just measly damage like what we have from the Reflection mod. This were big numbers, as we are using Sancti Castanas for this synergy. The thing is, the self-damage that should hurt your Trinity, is transferred to the enemies linked to the frame. You won't get damage, as it seems that both Aviator and Diamond Skin mod are negating those self-damage, so most of the time, you will see Trinity jumping and killing enemies. Those were the times when a simple support frame out-damages DPS frames, and the prices of Sancti Castanas and its Riven skyrocketed. But if there's one thing that I consider to be the most broken in Warframe, it's the past version of Naraman Focus. There was an ability on that focus tree that renders you invisible for a couple of seconds. If you managed to do a critical hit on the enemy, it was absurdly broken. That frame abilities and strategy don't matter anymore. It's Naraman all the way. That was the birth of an Naraman Rhino, and it doesn't really deserve to stay in the game in my honest opinion. The thing is so overpowered that even nullifier bubbles are helpless from it. Yes, Shadow Step is the name of that Naraman ability, and it doesn't break your invisibility, even if you step inside a nullifier bubble. So basically, you can stay invisible as long as you can land crits. 1 hour survival, 3 hours, 8 hours, or even a day? It really doesn't matter. If you equip Naraman, and activate Shadow Step, remember that all the things you've seen here are already patched, and they are not working anymore. So, there's no point in imitating it, but there are other broken stuff in Warframe that you can do right now, beginning with this. Okay, wait, what's happening? Why is my statica not nuking all those enemies out there? They have patched this also? Oh fuck it, failed outro. Well, time to grind hard again, and discover more broken stuff. I mean, review all those new stuff in this game. Thank you so much for watching. Squad Leader signing off.